to live?
Yes, live.
Live.
Welcome to the Ref Room.
Hockey talk for parents, players, coaches, and fans.
Text everyone you know. Facebook, chat, tweet, buzz, bling. I don't know. Just do what you have to do.
This is the Ref Room with Scott and Brad.
Come on, come on, come on. It's about to go down.
The Ref Room starts right now.
Yes, it does. It starts absolutely right now. Our final show of the season. I can't believe we are finally getting rid of 2020. Very happy to say. I want to welcome in my man, Brad Baumrock. What's going on?
Not much. How's it going, Scott? Hey, last show you asked how long we've been doing this.
Yeah. Did you count the episodes?
I took a look. There's 33 videos, but that's not all that. There's a couple promos on there, so it's approximately 7 months. So
wow.
So I throw that out there without.
And
without
you thought we were gonna do this for 3 weeks, right?
I did say 3 weeks. So, but yeah, it's about 7 months, I think, according to my gorilla math. But just thought I'd throw that out there. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to say that we're at the new year tomorrow,
yep.
And I haven't refereed an ice hockey game since August.
Wow,
so it's kind of interesting. So. But different year. Hopefully, maybe some stuff will happen here next month. But I don't know.
Well, you're young, so it won't take you as long to get back in shape, right? The
pounds
will just
know.
melt away.
Didn't work out too well for some of the NHL lockout guys. I mean, at least I'm not at that competitive level. So
yeah,
we
got lots to talk about because we got the World Juniors we want to talk about today. I want to talk about some of the NHL stuff. And we want to continue with the discussion we were having with the proposed rule changes for USA Hockey for next year.
Right.
They are proposed. They're not passed yet, but these are recommended rules that will be changing. So let's kick it off with the World Juniors. I mean, I haven't watched all the games, but I've checked out a few of them. And I'm going to start with the first game, USA versus Russia. I was disappointed. Mm-hmm. I was disappointed. I got to tell you, I just thought they were flat as could be. I was hoping they would come out of the gate. I realize these teams haven't been playing, so it's kind of tough. I get that. But it's the same for both teams. Nobody's playing. So I would have liked to have seen them come out with a little bit more oomph. And goaltending was really shaky. I mean, it was a tough day for them. So any thoughts on those games?
Well, it seemed, if you read some of the columnists too, and you watch the game, it seemed like the Russians came out and played the body a little more physically than the United States thought that they would. Yeah. And they kind of, forgive the term, beat them up against the boards and caused a lot of turnovers. So I just think it was just a flat game, like you said. And, after the change and, they're kids, let's face it, even though they're young adults.
And they've
been
back
sitting
in the
around.
Game. I mean, they actually got back in the game. Considering if you watch the entire game, which I actually did, which is very rare for me, I thought, wow, this game is going to be a blowout. And they hung in there. They got it back to within a goal. I mean, they had every chance to possibly at least tie that game up. So, good for them as far as that goes. And then I watched some of the Canada game, which I turned off. I was watching Canada and Germany. It was 16-2. Like, oh my gosh. Germany usually competes pretty well in these series or in these tournaments. I guess they only have one guy that's going to the NHL that's a draft pick, if I'm not mistaken, which is kind of unusual for them. They usually have a couple players at least, but a lot of blowout games. I mean, there's been some good hockey, and at least it's something to watch, obviously, going on all day. But
the Germany team, about 10 days before that, they had like 8 of their players test positive, and they weren't practicing, so that could have definitely attributed to it. And I think Canada is probably the one of the better teams, of course. So is the United States. So I think Sweden plays the United States today. Is that right? I can't remember.
I'm not sure. I'm not
and
sure.
Then
there was a
plays
Canada
the US.
game on this morning, but I don't know if that was a replay or if that was a live game. I have no idea. I got to think it was a replay, but at least there's hockey on in the morning, something we can tune in and watch. But that's going to lead me to my next thing, because as long as you're talking about Canada, one of our up-and-coming star players for the Blackhawks gets hurt, and that's Kirby Dach, who's now out for like 4 months or something like that. How long is the NHL season this year? It's probably only like 4 months, am I right? Maybe 5? Yeah. I mean, he might get back for the last couple games in playoffs if there is a playoffs. But, I mean, between him going down and then, Taves is out, Don't know if he's indefinite. Sounds kind of like he might be indefinite for a period of time. That's not a good start for the Hawks. I mean, they've got 3 questionable goaltenders. They got 2 star players out already. Would have liked to have seen maybe somebody from the Hawks go get Corey Perry. The guy goes for $750,000, which would have been a bargain to get a player of that skill level for even a season or 2 seasons. Any thoughts on that? I mean,
I don't know what they're doing. It's kind of interesting because you would have thought, not to be the hater of the Blackhawks, but you would have thought either Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, or Duncan Keith, one of them would have been dealt by now. I mean, I just know that's just one thing that, I know a lot of Hawks fans, oh, that's terrible that you could say that. I don't think you're moving Patrick Kane. I think with his value,
I agree.
I think you're trading either the captain or Keith, and they're going to be traded to someplace as a leadership role. Because, no offense, they're starting to get up there in the years, so they're going to be transferring from the young rookies to the skilled middle-aged veterans.
Yeah, they're going to be
the veteran role.
Third line player pretty soon. I mean, Keith I could have seen because he's not really the face of the Blackhawks. Even though he's a great player, I'm not selling him short by any means. I've been a fan for years. I mean, he moves the puck well. He's a great skater. He still competes very well. He's still got a couple years left, I think, in his game that he could be a major contributor for somebody. He'd certainly still be able to play top 4. But I just kind of thought, I don't know if they get rid of Toews or Kane because they're so much a face of the Blackhawks. I mean, they've put so much into those guys that you hate to see the franchise lose that, and then they've lost their face for the NHL. I think that's probably the tough part. But I mean, you see Bowman gets a promotion. Bowman gets upped basically, and now he's running hockey. I know McDonough was a great marketing guy. I don't know how much he knew about baseball. I don't think he knew a lot about hockey, but he thought he knew a lot about hockey. I think that's probably why he's not there anymore. But he was a great marketing guy. I mean, he did a great job and certainly put butts in the seats and put dollars in the bank for the family. So it's interesting. I mean, they got they brought in a female, which is great. I'm excited for her. She's got a great background, so I'm really thrilled to see what she's going to be able to do for the Hawks. And we'll see. I mean, I'm still not 100% sold on the coaching for the Blackhawks. Are you? Are you a fan of Jeremy? I mean,
I think time will tell. It's his first year, and he's my age. It's kind of you're putting a guy into the mix that's the same age. It's normally that guy's on the bench with you. So until he gets their trust, which it seemed like he did pretty well, the second half, because, I think the players did start to, bite onto what he wanted and they played well. But again, you're dealing with, personalities at that point. It's like college football. You can see great college football coaches go to the NFL and they can't do it. And you have great NFL coaches try to, back off in their career and go down to the NCAA level and kind of retire, and they can't do it there. It's very weird on how that works. And it's just, I think, how you motivate and how you interpersonalize with people.
Well, look at Lovie Smith. I mean, he was pretty successful NFL coach, and then he goes to, a college or university and does nothing for them. I mean, absolutely nothing.
With big dollars in their football program.
Absolutely.
Big dollars. If you've ever seen their campus, like if anybody's ever interested, Google it and look at their football facilities. They're serious down there. They're not messing around. It's an NFL facility for college players.
Absolutely. So, I get it. I mean, I think that's the other problem. Like with Jeremy coming in, he had a lot of players that are veterans of the team. They haven't made a lot of changes. It's kind of a tough sell. I get that. He probably needs some more time. So hopefully, I think he's got a good staff around him. He's got some great people working with him. I mean, right down to, the people that teach the skating and things of that nature for the Hawks. Our friend Kevin Delaney does a great job for them, and they've got some great coaching staff. So from that standpoint, I'm glad they're all there. And, let's see what they can do this year. I guess, is Subban the number one goalie? I guess he is considered number one right now.
I would consider that a yes.
Yeah, I haven't
until
seen him
time
play.
for-
I have not seen him play yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing him. I think he played in one of the games last year that was televised. I didn't get to see the game, so I'll be interested to see what happens there because Hawks definitely need some players to step up and they need some goaltending. And I wish Jonathan Toews the best, and I hope he gets well very soon because the Hawks do need him. He's a big role player for that team and a big support system for them, and he's been a great player for Chicago. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we look at the Maple Leafs. Thornton gets there, and now there's talk of playoffs. I mean, Maple Leafs have had so many great players that they've dealt off. Don't ask me why. And coaching changes, and they spent a fortune getting Babcock in there. They thought that was the second coming, and it didn't work out very well. And you don't even see Babcock on anything. I mean, is he just done for a couple of years, or is he done? Period. I kind of wonder.
I don't know.
Usually you see him on the NHL Network. Like we're trying to stay in the game here. We're gonna show you what we got, and we'll get picked up by somebody. But you don't even see him on the NHL channel. So I wonder if he's if he's done.
Well, if he's hated in Montreal in Toronto, thank you. It's the same country, different city.
Yeah.
If he's hated there,
now.
I mean, that's like the biggest market. Like they can support probably another NHL team in Toronto.
Oh,
but
for sure.
Would it make the Maple Leafs as special? That's the thing.
It'd be like White Sox and Cubs.
I agree.
You'd have look at New York. Either you're a Devils fan, or you're a Rangers fan, or you're an Islanders fan.
All on top of each other.
Exactly, but they all do well. They certainly can support the teams, which is great. Of course, Corey Crawford will be in a Devils uniform this year for the measly price of $1 million. I don't know how many games he'll play. It'll be interesting to see.
He'll be there.
I mean, the Hawks could have kept Crawford, I guess. But I kind of agree with them letting him go, personally. That's just my personal feeling, even though they could have had him for like $1 million, which for a goaltender, that's not a bad price. You agree?
No, I don't think it's bad. I just think that relationship had run its course. And they've been drafting quite a few goalies every couple years. So you got the system's kind of backed up. Why not, give it a whirl? I mean, Darling came all the way up through their system. And played well, and then they ended up letting him go in the long run. But they stuck with Crawford. So maybe there's another Darling in there. I mean, it's 1 in a million, but maybe it's in there.
Interesting because it used to be the goaltenders were the the high priced draft picks and the big money players, and that seems to have dwindled a little bit. By the way, Lundqvist, I guess he's having heart surgery or something. So, our thoughts and prayers are with him. I mean, that's going to be a tough one. Hopefully he's in great shape and he'll recover from that. He was a great goaltender for the Rangers. But, like I say, goaltenders used to be the big money player, and that has all changed in this league. So kind of interesting to see what's going to happen.
Well, the league intentionally made it more difficult for goaltenders. They made their pads smaller. They've restricted where they can move. You can't come out of the net and go play it in the corners now. You got to stay in the trapezoid. You have all these things where they've restricted goalies. And, if you're a goaltender and you're moving up and you're 17 years old and they change all those rules in the NHL, you completely have to relearn your position.
Yeah.
So goaltenders are on, the front side of trying to catch back up to the game. At least that's in my opinion, because now you have all these high skilled players that are able to move down the ice without much opposition. Yes, you can get in his way or whatever, but it's not like if you go look at the 80s and 90s, right. the guy's basically water skiing with the guy behind him, and the guy still gets a shot off, but yet the goalie's pads are almost the size of the entire goal mouth.
Yeah,
they changed the goaltender's position a lot, and not just by how they have to play it, but how they limited just the basic build. Like their chest protectors have gotten smaller. I mean, their their leggings have gotten smaller.
Oh, wait. No, stop. I'm going to stop you right there. No. Go back and look at the equipment in the 70s. Okay.
Go back. All right. I get you.
These guys are wearing Kevlar bulletproof vests that are like 4 times my size. They fill the whole friggin' net, and they're all like over 6 feet tall. So I don't want to hear about the equipment shrinking on the poor goaltender. He only has to cover 6 inches of the net now instead of 12 inches of the net like he used to have to cover. So, yeah, you're going to have a tough time selling me on that because I was a goalie growing up, okay?
Yeah,
the arm pads we used to have had no padding in the middle here where the puck was going to hit you, okay? I mean, the equipment
Did you also walk? Did you also walk?
I did walk to school. I walked miles.
In the snow,
I read by
with no
the
shoes
fire.
on.
Absolutely, all those things.
No, but if you go look at Patrick Roy, look at his pads from the 90s and the 2000s.
Yeah.
They're huge. And I'm not discrediting I'm not discrediting him playing goal. He's a great goaltender. His kid's a good goaltender too. But you just,
Well, let's go back and look at Ken Dryden's pads, and they were tiny compared to the goalies today.
And they mostly stood up too.
I mean, goaltender pads literally came like 2 inches above your knee, maybe 3 inches above your knee back in the 70s and early 80s. So, we have our first comment from Mark. What's up, Mark? Good to see you on the show. Appreciate you chiming in.
Today.
It says Tretiak equipment in the 80s Olympics. Yeah. And who was the American Jim? What was his name? He played for Boston for a short period of time.
I know who you're talking about.
It'll drive me crazy.
Starts with
Jim Craig.
Craig, there you go.
Yeah, and they all had small equipment. That's what I grew up playing in, and the equipment was small. It was like a first baseman mitt that you're using with a little padding on up here. You had a little cuff here, and that was it. So Marty Tong chimed in.
Thank you.
Everybody said Jim Craig. So yes, thank you very much.
I told you, I knew it started with a C.
Yeah, well, I got it too. I was on it. Finally, I get an answer right. Ding, ding, ding. I'm a winner.
No, I agree with you. I'm just saying, though, the NHL did limit the goaltenders' pads. And then the big hamstring was the goaltenders have all become very good skaters. So, you see more of the Marty Brodeur going into the corner. And the NHL was like, whoa, wait a minute. Hang on. Wait a minute. This guy's coming out. He's like a third defenseman. We got to stop this because Brodeur would pass it 3/4 of the way down the ice.
Absolutely. And I think that's what they wanted to do. And if you watch, you can look at Illinois. We have goaltenders playing high school hockey that handle the puck better and shoot the puck better than anybody on their team. And I'm not going to mention what team this is, but they got one guy. This guy is, I don't know if he's the best goaltender in Illinois, but he handles the puck better than anybody I've seen. He shoots the puck harder than most of the guys on his team. And, he's crafty. But unfortunately, if he was to continue on, would he be able to do the same things once you get to the NHL? So they changed the position. So I wonder, we're going to be talking about rule changes. Maybe it's time to start looking at teaching these goaltenders from an early age not to be able to do some of the things that the NHL goalies can't do. Do you think? Should we have a trapezoid in amateur hockey?
It would be extremely difficult for youth officials to deal with the trapezoid.
Yes, it would.
I mean, even the guys in minor pro hockey in the 3 official system, as they're refereeing, most of the time they say about 90% of the time, if the goalie plays it outside the trapezoid, they tip them off because they're like, oh, like they touch it and they're outside the trapezoid and it's easy. That's guys that have worked pro hockey, but they're like, sometimes it's so close. You're like, I'm halfway down the ice. Like, if he got to it in the trapezoid, I hope he didn't, and you're kind of looking at the linesman, I guess. Yeah. And, a lot of the linesmen have a pre-done hand signal. But, even if you look at the upper levels, I think I've only seen it called, like once or twice in all the games I've ever watched. So, and that was early on. So I think the goalies adapt pretty quick. They do. Just like they adapt to college hockey rules real quick. They can play their position, but they can't attempt to play the puck, which in USA hockey, they can go play the puck. And if it goes past the goal line and they whiff on it, they're trying to go play it. They whiff on it, goes past the goal line. It's icing. Yeah. College hockey, the second that they feign to get the puck.
The minute they make a move for the puck, the icing is waived in college hockey.
Correct.
So as soon as they start
but
to
but not
Chris
USA.
Hahn chimed in. He said no, he doesn't think we should make those changes.
No. Yeah. It would be, A, it's restrictive. B, very few goaltenders. I mean, like you said, the one, I know who you're talking about too. The one goaltender does it very well.
He's crafty, man. He'll take that net off the mooring as fast as he can. When they get in a situation, you got to be prepared to make that call. So I I got to wish a couple people happy birthday, too, because Marty
go
Tom
ahead.
is on the show today. Marty, happy birthday to you. Celebrating today. And yesterday was Dave Ballantyne's birthday, by the way. So if you haven't had a chance to wish Dave Ballantyne a happy birthday, we'll wish him one as well. So happy birthday to both of you guys. And anybody else out there celebrating a birthday or anything else you want to celebrate, like New Year's?
We're gonna charge you $25 though from now on.
We need a birthday sponsor. I think that's what we need.
No, but anyway, moving back, to where you said that Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane are the eyes of the faces of the Blackhawks. It's been done before. I mean, teams move their star players, their faces. I don't think that's any concern that we would have to worry about, as moving forward as a team. So I just wanted to put that in there. We got on that long tangent, and no trapezoid.
Marty says thanks for the birthday wishes. You're very welcome, Marty. Marty, one of my mentors, believe it or not. Marty, I've known him from men's league hockey forever and ever and ever. And, he helped me when I first started with, studying and all that good stuff and all the rules and everything. So appreciate you, Marty. A couple other things, as long as we're on the subject. So I posted a couple things on Facebook this week. I don't know if you guys had a chance to take a look at the post, but there was a post up there, and one of our other referees, Patrick Sullivan, brought something to my attention. I noticed that the Pittsburgh Penguins got millions of dollars in stimulus money. Are they hurting? Are they desperate in Pittsburgh that they need stimulus money? Really? Because one of the owners just turned around, as Patrick pointed out, that he bought the Neverland Ranch, which is Michael Jackson's property.
Okay.
I don't know what the price tag on that was, but it would be in the probably as much or more than he got in stimulus. Okay. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Usually we don't see those kind of stories with hockey.
Well, when you posted that up, Scott, I immediately thought of Harvard, and Harvard got $9 million from it, and then there was some backlash, and then all of a sudden they gave the money back.
Yeah.
So
not until there was backlash, though. I don't think Pittsburgh's given the money back now because it's been too long to be like, oh no, we just won't apply for stimulus on this next go around as a small business.
Right. Well, and I think I've done it for our own personal business.
Somebody said 22 million.
Is that how much Pittsburgh got?
I'm not seeing anybody on the names on here for. Let me see if I can readjust.
Well, anyways, it's just one of those. I did it for our office, which I'll consider us a much smaller business.
Did you get $4 million or $22 million or whatever it is?
I wouldn't. No, Karen said the 22 million.
So Karen, was that $22 million for Neverland
Pittsburgh
Ranch that they paid, or was that $22 million that they got in stimulus money?
We'll wait for the Neverland question first.
Yeah,
that's the one I want to know.
Yeah,
but I think it just got murky for everybody because everybody didn't know how to keep employees employed and who qualified for what. No offense. I mean, if Harvard put in for it, I think that's a pretty tough one because they have $30 billion of endowments that come to them, and they're looking for payroll
ridiculous
protection.
Number, and yet the whole thing is a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah, well.
There are a lot of schools that got money. They weren't the only school that got money. So
it's just if you're the big fish always gets fried.
Yeah.
So remember that. You're throwing the little one back. Well, unless you're starving.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's crazy times we live in, I guess. All right. Well, we wanted to talk. He says stimulus was $435 million to Harvard. They didn't get $435 million.
I don't remember what it was, 9 million or something.
Yeah.
There's some sort of payroll thing.
Yeah.
I know that. Anyways.
Well, we want to talk about a couple of rules today, too. We talked about this last week because there are proposed rule changes now coming up for USA Hockey. This is a rule change year that we're going to be coming into, not in 2021-22. So we looked at a few things last week. And actually, I want to go back because one of the rules that was supposed to be or could be changed is the time of penalties, the amount of time you'll serve for a penalty. And I thought about this over the week after we had the discussion because I thought, oh, that's crazy. But actually, I now that I've thought about it, I really think that what they've proposed is actually a really good move. to have a mite or a squirt that's playing an 11 or 12-minute period and have them sit in a box for 2 minutes for, a trip or something of that nature that's not a severe penalty, yeah, I think a minute would be more appropriate. So what they're proposing is, I believe it's periods up to 12 minutes would be a 1 minute penalty. And then
13 to 17.
Thank you. That would be a minute and a half penalty. And did you want to finish your statement before I interrupt you on that?
Well, yeah, sure. The big boy games, it's going to be 2 minutes.
Yeah, that would be 18 minutes to
18
20. Well, now I think a couple of high schools would argue that they're playing big boy minutes, okay?
Well,
but they're only playing, 15, 16, or 17. And in some cases, they're only playing 14 minutes if it's like a JV game. But
the one big thing, I know you and me, Scott, talked about it afterwards, was how I pointed out, okay, in a 20-minute game, when you serve 2 minutes in a penalty, that's a tenth of the
10%.
period.
Yeah, it's 10%.
A tenth of the period. So, you're right, 10%.
Yeah.
And in a youth game, if you're playing 12 minutes and you're serving 2 minutes, you're serving 25%. So you're serving a much greater time in that penalty box. So I think it's just to make it equal across the time, the percentage of the playing time. Now, when we looked at that, Scott, I looked back at it again, unless I'm missing it. I don't know if they were messing with majors and misconduct. You know what? It looking at it with the 270 pages, you start to, kind of look like this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost it's almost like I wish they would put up something that was, broken down, because so much of it is really based on wording and changing verbiage. And the big thing that they were changing a lot of was the injury versus, what is it, aggressive or reckless endangerment, that sort of thing. So
we have that one. I think that was Proposition 80. I just pulled one of them out. So like butt ending, anytime that they use the term injury,
right,
they're going to change it. They're going to reverb that. And I kind of agree with it, especially because, as a referee, I can make the argument on the ice. Well, how did I know he was injured?
Yeah, and you don't. Are you a doctor?
Right, exactly. So
I play one.
Doogie Howser. But anyways, no, they're trying to make it simpler for you to enforce the rules and, make it more clear-cut, dry. And I know that sounds terrible that it's dry, but injury is such a broad term. Like, if a guy hits a guy and he gets a bruise on his wrist, is he injured? Well, technically,
or is he hurt?
Well, exactly. But like by definition, is that an injury?
Yeah.
Technically. But is that injury really that severe that a player deserves to be thrown out of the game?
I mean, you get a player that gets the wind knocked out of him and he's down, and he looks like he's suffering for a few minutes, and yet he's right back up. He's not going to miss a shift. Obviously, it's just he needs to catch his breath. But is he injured? You've stopped play.
Right.
He's getting assistance. Is he injured?
Well, I understand. Yeah. Well, I think that they wanted, the intent of the rule is, if you've removed a player from the game, due to an injury, well, they're going to remove you from the game as well. You're not going to, that's really basically, if you think about it, it's almost an eye for an eye. Or if you're just insane, they want to get rid of you for the rest of the game. Maybe you missed your, morning Wheaties or something and you're cranky, or, your girlfriend's in the stands today and it's a high school game, and you decide to swing your stick at somebody's head. You didn't connect, but we could definitely throw them out for it. So,
and trust me, I would certainly penalize them. That's for sure.
I've done it before. I mean, taking a swing with a stick at, somebody's head it's not a pretty thing. Baseball swing, even if they miss.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. It's nothing good can come from that. We've seen it before.
No.
Well, talking about this, the penalty times, the one thing, and I'm going to stand by this, that I said last week, I think it's going to be much more difficult for the officials when they have somebody that's in the scorer's box that's having trouble putting penalties up. And you do have this a lot. I mean, if they're going to go to minute-and-a-half penalties, and now you have to start calculating all this stuff, it's a lot more difficult for the officials. They almost need a rule that says you need to put somebody competent in the scorer's box that can put the penalties up on the board if you want to go with minute-and-a-half penalties. No problem on the bite and squirt game. You know, he's got a minute penalty. Great.
All right. So
did they mention anything about
tests? No.
Yeah, they need a scorekeeper. Yeah. They really should have some, you know, like videos and stuff. They should have some, I don't want to call it a certification for the scorekeeper, but they should be like certified on the clock that they're going to be running. The parent should get a little course other than the cheat sheet that's in the box and asking the referee, how do you do this? Which is usually the case, or the coach from one of the coaches from one of the teams comes over and puts it together for him. Yeah.
It's not my ice.
No.
Figure it out.
That's right. There you go. But, you know, minute penalty, what are we going to do for misconducts? Did you see anything in there on misconducts? Is that going to say 10 minutes? So, like, are you going to get a 1 and a 10 or a 1.5 and a 10?
Like I said, it's looking at, I've looked at it 3 days, and it's kind of like this after a while.
Yeah. Well, do you have any other rules that you really like that you wanted to share with anybody?
Well, yeah, I sent you some cheat sheets, but I didn't write it down.
Well, yeah, okay, that's like a secret handshake. Like, yeah, okay, Brad, I know which ones you're talking about, but you know, the people that are watching might want to know what we're talking about too. So that's why.
Can you pull it up, Scott? Go to Proposition 50.
Yeah, I can do that.
'Cause I think you had it up.
Yeah, give me a second here. Which rule are we looking for? Number 50?
Proposition 50. Yep.
All right, give me a second. This has to load, so you got to kill a couple. Couple moments.
I thought
it went to sleep.
You had it up.
It went to sleep, so that's the problem.
No, so going back to it, you know, again, let's clarify that these are proposed rules. Right. The ones that we've talked about are approved. You know, we did talk about a couple that got defeated.
Okay, so the one you're talking about is the progressive suspensions, correct?
Correct. Yep,
okay.
I believe so. 50. I just can't see the.
Yeah, you can't. So it's 411C for all of you. I'll circle it right here. 411C, progressive suspensions.
So add new C that calls for coach to serve.
Over a little.
Yeah, you're good. It's good on my screen.
Yeah, but I can't. So I was hoping I could kind of like pinch this in. There we go. So now you guys can see it a little better.
So add new C that calls for coach to serve an additional game for second abuse of official game misconduct in the same season and be suspended until a hearing after the third, which they have approved as amended. Okay, so what does that basically say? So, you know,
you might need to get another coach on the bench because you may have some games your coach will not be there.
So basically, it's you know, going along with you know, the progressive for the players, where if you get so many you get so many standalone fives, you're suspended for the next game. You know, they're just adding it to the coaches in order to narrow down on zero tolerance. So
I think it's a good move. I mean, you know, this will have some coaches thinking twice. If they've already been, you know, tossed once, they're going to think twice before they want to get tossed again. But, you know, then the onus also becomes the referee's problem. We need to consider when we're tossing somebody out of a game. I mean, some coaches definitely deserve to be tossed, but it's an emotional game, guys. And, you know, is it really worth sending that guy packing for 3 games from his team based on what he just said to you? So we're going to have to think about that too, I think, as devil's advocate on this.
No, I agree with you, Scott. That was going to be my point. With this, yes, they're going to put more on the coaches to behave themselves, but that also puts more responsibility on the referees, which when these coaches get thrown out with the age of video, everybody has a cell phone and everybody's showing grandma at home with their iPad, and all of it's being recorded throughout the game. So as officials, you know, like you said, we need to think about when we toss somebody. If we throw somebody out and they deserve it, everybody's going to understand. There's not going to be any question. But we're going to be scrutinized more for
making
situations that possibly that player should not, or coach should have not been ejected from said game.
Well,
so just a food for thought.
We say this all the time, guys. I mean, know that you are being watched. You know, the police haven't figured that out when they show up on TV, that they haven't figured out that they're being watched with the cameras. But, you know, it's no different for us. You got all these people in the stands. And not only that, the teams are shooting video. They've got video and audio of everything. So, you are being watched. Even when you think you're not being watched between periods or something, or you're standing over by the referee's crease, guess what? Probably a lot of that audio is still possibly heard by one of the cameras in the building.
It's very clear. You could, with how audio devices are, we find a lot, the one thing that I can tell you is, I do stuff here, and, with how the technology is with all the rinks, I don't have to go to a rink now. If I want to see somebody that's skating, I can just find out where they're skating, find out what rink they're on, what time, and I can pull it up with video and watch it. And I don't have to watch the whole thing. I can watch, maybe, somebody said you had a rough first period. I'll get an email, people send out stuff all the time, can you take a look at this or that, or even your partner, which that one's even crazier when somebody's partner says,
hey, can you take a look at my partner, please?
Well, no, not your partner, but like somebody, I'll be reffing with somebody and they'll be like, hey, can you just take a look at this? And they'll tell me when it happened in the game. Well, after you've refereed 5 other games, you can't remember when it was. You're like, it was in the first period. So you sit there and you have to watch the first period. Well, every once in a while, it'll be somebody, that's, needs some assistance. And it could be somebody you don't even know. And it's like, oh, well, hey, I'll send them this. And you just shoot them a nice note and you're done with it. So people are looking 24/7. It's really amazing nowadays.
And let me throw a little tip out there too, guys. Like, one of the more controversial calls that you'll ever make is a too many men on the ice situation. And, you can stand there and argue and go, oh, you had 7 guys on the ice, or you had 8 guys on the ice, whatever the number may be. But if you make that call, if you can look up at the clock real quickly and you go, oh, it's 7:15. When 7:15, you had too many men on the ice. If you could tell the coach like a number, a time like that, they will believe you a lot more than just going, oh, he was too far from the bench, because they will go back and look at the video. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
So if you could throw that out there, it just solidifies that you were paying attention and you counted. It's a nice way of doing it, guys.
A little extra ammo.
Yeah, exactly. Marty Tong says, video doesn't lie. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, but the bad part is sometimes video, even when you watch it, you're like, it didn't really help me out. Like, because there's times that I've watch games and I'm like, did I get that? And I'm like,
hold this. I'm going to come back to that, because video, when you say video doesn't lie, I'm going to say that people will do anything to make sure that the video represents what they want you to see. And I'm going to use this example. I've given this example on this show before, and I'm going to do it again because this is really true. My first year, I was working with an official at a House League playoff game. I think it was a squirt playoff game. And the official lost sight of the puck. This was a tie game. The official lost sight of the puck. She blew the whistle. Play stopped. And then the team popped the puck in the net. And of course, they were going to celebrate after that. Okay. No problem. We continue the game. Later that evening, I get an email from a scheduler with the video attached. What happened here?
Yeah,
I mean, what do you mean what happened here? And I'm looking at that video and I'm like, she lost sight of the puck. She blew the whistle. Face off. That's it. No goal. Well, why? Well, guess what? The parents had taken the audio portion off of the video and only sent the video portion in. And I quickly addressed that and said, well, if you notice, there's no audio on here, so you can't hear the official that blew the whistle and stop play. But this is for a Squirt House League game, guys. So, know that they will do whatever they need to do to get their point across and try to win.
They especially like to edit out them screaming the officials.
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
Them,
so whatever,
and the officials' response of them throwing them out. We get those a lot. If we get it and there's no fans or anything saying anything before, and the referee's just throwing them out, we're like, Come on. Okay, send us the whole video undoctored.
So parents, if you need assistance with that, I'm a professional audio editor. I make my living doing that. Feel free to send your videos my way, and I will, get a promotion out of this and get some money out of it from you guys so that I can make sure that the audio is doctored properly for you. Okay, don't send it with just the muted section where it's
Scott, we'll give you another example. There was one, I got a phone call from somebody in there. They were looking, so how we got the three colored, copies, and it's pressed through and carbon copies
right.
and yada, yada. And it's typically white, yellow, and pink. Let's just try to standardize that. We know there's goldenrod, there's
blue.
Whatever, but you know what I'm saying? So I get a call from a friend, and he's looking at one of these and he goes, all right, I don't get it. I'm like, what's up? He goes, I have the yellow copy and I have the pink copy photos. He goes, the yellow copy does not have the penalty written down on it. And I'm like, what? He's like, I swear. He's like, I can't, it's not written on it. I go, well, it's on the white one. Oh, well, that mysteriously vanished. I'm like, oh, well, that sounds about right. So we're looking at it and, all of a sudden I'm like, there's got to be a way that you can remove stuff from this yellow copy. So we got a bunch of yellow score sheets, and me and him went and got a bunch of household cleaners and stuff. And we started trying it, in two separate houses. And then all of a sudden he called me up. He's like, okay, I think I got it. And it was some off-brand varnish.
Don't tell what brand.
I'm not going to tell what it was, but it was an off-brand varnish. So what he did is he requested the physical score sheet from them and never heard from him again.
Yeah.
Because we were able to finally, he's like, go try this. And I tried it. And you could get it off and blow dry it and take a photo, and it looked like it was never there. It was really stumped them. So they would go to that length for. And
what level game was this, by the way? Was this for a Might House game?
No, I think it was a Bantam travel game, if I remember correctly.
Bantam travel game. Wow.
Well, it's just, because at first we thought maybe they had folded it and written it and then folded it back. And I'm like, but we would see a crease in the score sheet. I go, no. So we were sitting there, we're like, they had to have altered it.
And we wonder why teams win World Series that do things that they're not supposed to. Where do they learn these things, huh?
Hey, you know what? Until you get caught, it's, not illegal in sports, right? That's right. The way they always put it.
Unbelievable.
All right.
All right, let's see. We got a comment here. 70. Let me see what this says. It says the official cannot second guess themselves thinking about whether the coach player will be penalized further. You can only make the call on the current situation. I don't know who that comes from because, again, I can't see.
I don't either. I get the point and I get where that's coming from. But also remember that if you're throwing coaches out willy-nilly and not thinking about what you're doing, then you're just saying, well, you know what? I threw them out. It's their problem now.
Yeah.
And that does no justice to the game either. You need to make sure that because if you think about this too, if you remove a head coach and you have two dads, I'm not putting down the dads that volunteer their time here, by the way, that are opening doors. The head coach is there for a reason. He's supposed to understand the game. The dads might not, especially at the younger ages. The dads may have never played the game. They were interested in the game. They watched the game. Their kids like the game. So now you've just removed the only person of knowledge on the bench to a bunch of kids that are learning the game. It's not always about winning and losing. It's about learning the game. It's just like, a lot of people say, well, ejecting a center. Well, sometimes, at certain levels of hockey, you're going to talk to that center a couple times first before you eject them. And you're going to try, because if you keep just ejecting the center, that center's never going to learn.
Who's going to eject a center without giving you're going to ask him to either square up, and you're probably going to ask him more than once before you stick your hand out and say, new center, please.
You would hope so, but
hope.
I'm just saying. But also, it's once you get into, the AAA hockeys, okay, that center's out there for a reason, to take faceoffs. If you can't work out a common ground with that center, I get if they're just being a total, a-hole, you're going to eject them. But that player's out there for a reason. So, the biggest time that I see it, and I can't stand it, and, it does happen properly, but it's very rare, is when a team goes down shorthanded, and then the centers come in, and then you eject the shorthanded team center.
Yeah.
So now we just penalized them.
It's a double
and then
penalty.
we just ejected we ejected their center on top of it. And it does happen, like if they jump. If they jump, I get it. But I'll see where somebody ejects somebody for their stick not being square, or, get their stick square, help them out, and say, look, hey, you're on a penalty kill here. I really don't want to toss you out. After that, they're going to be a peach every time they see you.
Yes.
So, it's just it's
being nice to the players goes a long way. I say this all the time. I mean, the goalie can be your best friend. All you got to do is thank him for handing you the puck. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Or, hey, that was a nice save. Good job, man. Way to hang in there. They respect that. They tend to be more on your side when there becomes a situation where they can help you, when the two defensemen are going nuts and losing their mind back there, and the goalie can calm them down where you cannot calm them down.
Right, so you're building
a lot of this stuff just goes a long way. I mean, yes, building a rapport with them, just like having a rapport with the coach. If you know that coach and you've seen him 4 or 5 times, chances are he's not going to be as rough on you as he would be if he's never seen you before or doesn't think he's ever going to see you again. It's just about having a rapport. They know what you're going to call. They know your standard. They learn it.
Well, I don't think it'll ever stop coaches from showing their emotion, whether they know you're not.
Their job is to work us too. Their job is to work us. As a player, I worked referees. I loved working referees because you're going to get a call at some point.
I think when you're referring to coaches, I think once you build that rapport, it becomes easier to discuss situations with them that might be awkward. You're going to learn their tendencies. They're going to learn yours. Yeah, they're going to yell at this. Some coaches, you go out there and they're great guys, like, no issues. And you let the linesman know, just so you know, he's going to yell at you every time it comes across the blue line. Yeah. No matter what, until they know, and it's not putting the coaches down, until they know you, they're going to yell at you. They want to see what you're going to do. Yeah. So sometimes you have to just deal with it.
There's one coach out there, and I'm not going to mention who he is.
No names.
You may know, no names.
No names. No schools. No nothing.
My goodness, if you better know the rules when you get out there, because he is going to test you in some situations you've never seen before. He'll send his goalie down to the far end to try to take a face-off if he's losing the game, okay? I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff from this guy, and he's relentless, and I'm sure you probably know who I'm referring to. But, coaches will test you guys. That is for sure. And they will see how far they can go with you if they think they're in that position to do it.
Scott, going back to the proposed rules, go down to 76.
Okay.
Proposition 76.
Give me a second to bring this back up here, because
I didn't take
the screen goes to sleep. So let me just get this up here. So 76. Okay, I think
76.
Yeah. Let's see here if I can. Wrong one here. Give me a second. I got to get the right button here for us.
Too many buttons and switches.
Well, the writing is just so friggin' small you can't see it. That's the problem on my end. I do everything by myself, guys. I don't have a producer here, so it makes it a little tougher. Okay, so number 76, which is abuse of officials and other misconduct, adds verbiage to actions deemed. I can't even see it.
I got it.
I have to take my glasses off to read it.
Adds vaping to actions deemed prohibited under the rule and replaces bench minor with a game misconduct for violation. So it's doing two things. So that's the tobacco enforcement of cigarettes or chewing tobacco, and they just added vaping.
Well, let me just say this. I'm glad they did, because we have referees that vape in the locker room, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. But it doesn't stop them from doing it.
Vaping in the locker room. Technically in Illinois, you shouldn't be vaping inside at all.
That's right.
That's a law.
That's right.
But anyways, with this, it adds vaping to it, but it also replaces, because it was a bench minor, to a game misconduct. It's just a reason to remove somebody that starts being, a pain in the arse. Yeah. And I think, the one thing with the vaping, you don't see anybody anymore lighting up a cigarette in a building, pretty much public building anymore.
Not since Dennis Savard would do it on the ice, right?
Well, right. So, I think I want to say I would like to hear the story that actually got them to add this, because have you seen people with the big vape clouds and stuff? I could see a coach being really mad somewhere, and some referees in front of his bench, and he sucks in a big vape pen and blows smoke. I'm not saying.
Was this at a national tournament, do you think? Because that's where a lot of the rule changes come from.
I have no idea, but think about it though, Scott. All right, you can only bench that guy, and then he waits till his 2-minute minor is over again, right?
And does it again.
And he does it again. So
I'm
I would
blowing
love to
smoke
hear
at the referee.
I would love to hear the story, and if there isn't a story, somebody didn't think of it, which is amazing to me, because if I thought of it, 99% it happened. But I like that they added it. Anything that's gonna keep away tobacco products from the playing surface, is a good deal. And like I said, it just makes it. I think it just makes it a little easier to deal with. And you know what, Scott? In my 22 years of officiating, I've never had to bench anybody for tobacco or lighting up a cig. I had to talk to fans once.
I haven't either. I mean, I've only got 9 years in, but I haven't either.
But it's almost a mood point, but it's there. So if it happens, it's an odd one. At least know it. And then
somebody had to have been in the building when that happened.
Somebody got a video, but
or it happened to like a referee in chief. One of the referees in chief must have had this happen to him somewhere.
I think they just wanted to make sure.
Would it have been a southern state, like a tobacco state or something? I don't know.
Well, and then, Scott, go to 84, just so we can clarify how they're going to change this injury part. And that just happened to be because you keep seeing it. Yep. Okay. Replaces reference to injury with reckless endangers or reckless endangerment. They approved it. They're just cleaning up the verbiage. And Scott, you and me talked about this right beforehand, and
it makes perfect sense. Again, 100% agreement with the verbiage changes.
Yeah, they're making it easier for us to do his job. To do our jobs. So they're giving us a little more leeway, but they're also cleaning it up because you get the old, well, how do you know he's injured from the other coach? Right. Well, I know. That's your only answer.
Well, I'm a doctor.
Right, but now you can say, well, he recklessly contacted that player's head.
Yeah.
He recklessly tried to hurt him with the butt end. Once you put that word recklessly in there, it really narrows it down.
That really changes things, too, because, you can have a player take a pretty good shot to the head off one of these wild checks, late hits or whatever, and even though he doesn't get injured, he definitely deserves to be penalized for his actions because there's intent there. And, somebody is going to get hurt. Maybe not on that play, but it will happen.
Well, Scott, I think what you're referring to is, a guy takes a shot to the head, but the opposing player had been chasing him around for a minute and a half trying to get him. And then they take a shot to the head, but they don't hit him as good as they wanted to. As an official, what they were trying to do.
You're just watching and waiting. There's nothing you can do. You can't stop play and go, well, he's going to get him eventually. But, you can just know that you got your eye on him.
Try and talk him down off the ledge. That's what I do. If the guy's chasing a guy, I'm like, hey, quit horsing around, Or I'll say to the coach if I'm in front of their bench, you might want to get 27 off the ice because I don't think he's playing hockey anymore, and I notice it. And that'll generally trigger a line change. So there's still some things you can do to avoid it, but I think it just clears up how the game is, and it clears up those. He was chasing him around, for a minute and a half, and he didn't get him quite as good as he got him.
Well, why was he out there for a minute and a half shift? That's the first question you should ask. Why is he out there for a minute and a half?
Well, because he was already out
hustling.
there. Well, he was trying to get that guy. But no, I just think it's
I double shifted him so he could get that guy.
Well, so I think it all turned out pretty good. I didn't see anything else, Scott. Did you find anything else?
Yeah, there were a couple things in there that I looked at. And one is that you won't be able to ice the puck on the penalty kill for all age groups. Mm-hmm. So, that we have that currently through Bantam levels. So under 14 and under, you can't ice the puck when you're shorthanded. But I guess they're going to change that and take that all the way up. I don't know if it's going to go to the adult league or not, but it's certainly going to go through youth hockey.
I think it was 116D, Scott.
Let's see.
See if you can pull it up there.
Pardon my scrolling here, everybody.
There you go.
There we go. Okay.
Is that it?
Yeah. 116B prohibits 12 and under. No, that's defeated, which is the approved, to include recently created 15 hybrid icing, 15 and over.
I don't know. I lost it. I know it's in there,
I did
though.
too. Yeah, I didn't put a rules reference. Maybe it was 116A.
No.
Oh, okay. Wait.
There you go.
116A
prohibits all youth.
prohibits
Yeah, there you go.
all youth levels of play to legally ice the puck during shorthanded situations, and that's approved and says refer to youth. I'm assuming that means it may not be for adult league, but
Correct.
it would be for
right.
all the
It's
youth
just
hockey.
a youth change.
Yeah.
So
that
that was something we talked about, Scott, about 10 episodes ago,
Mhm.
because it had been working so well at the levels below that a lot of the coaches and a lot of the upper people thought it worked so well that they did see it possibly becoming a rule change for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, am I a traditionalist?
It promotes skills. It really does. It promotes puck control. On the downside of things, when teams are down 2 players, when it's 5-on-3, it's pretty tough to watch. It's pretty tough to watch.
Right, but again, we can make the argument: why are you down 5-on-3?
Yeah.
I mean,
I get
if
it.
you put yourself in the situation, wasn't me.
Players
And
have
it's
gotten
actually
much
the two
better
guys in the box.
at shorter angles, more extreme angles, I guess you would say, just to get the puck out of the zone where it's not going to make it to the, to the goal line down there. They're going to bang it at a different angle and get it out where it just kind of, gets down the ice. They're better at that than they used to be. Let's see what we've got a comment here. Gary Pottishman says a ref that can't see. What a surprise, Gary, right? I'm not sure who this is, but it says the one above it refers to adults. Yeah.
The 114 allows all levels to legally.
Oh, let's see that.
It's defeated.
Okay. Oh, it was defeated. So that's this one. Hang on, I'll bring it so everybody can see it.
It says allows all
14.
levels. It's right up there.
And so here's the defeat. So that means it would not be approved for adults.
That you could ice it.
Yeah.
No. What they were trying to do is that you could ice the puck again, shorthanded, at all levels. So it got approved at youth, but defeated technically. I get where it's coming from.
All right. So next one that we were going to look at was end zone faceoffs after penalties. I kind of think that that's a really good idea. You have somebody that plays the puck with a high stick, and the puck goes all the way down. And then you got some guy that absolutely annihilates some kid, takes a 5 in a game, and the faceoff is in a neutral zone. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So I think that's a good call.
Yeah, well, we talked about that last week.
Yeah.
So whereas, why is it such a severe penalty for the stick being up there? And they're playing the puck and it goes all the way down. Well, they don't want the stick up there. Well, but yet, you high stick the guy, we're going to leave it down there. It doesn't make much sense. So it definitely deals with it.
Right. Now, another one that we saw, let's look at this one, 142. Pardon my scrolling. 142. Tied games. Adds reference and guidance for shootouts, which means we could be looking at like real shootouts at games. We've never had that with USA Hockey unless it was maybe a tournament or a special circumstance of some sort. But now maybe they're looking at adding an approved way to eliminate tied games. Might be interesting. So
I don't think you're going to see it across the board just because of how much ice time is.
Yes.
But I think they're going to definitely, because once you get to someplace, they always have their own set of rules on what players can shoot. Can a penalized player that's in the box currently, can they shoot in a shootout? Depends on the rules. Like all of that gets changed up, and I think I don't ever remember there being anything in there for it, but at least they're trying to give you some sort of guideline.
Well, they've had
I don't know what
tournaments
it is, but
that have the shootout, and they, you got a squirt, bronze team or something of that nature playing, and they only have 2 guys that can even hit the net on the shootout. And now you got to go through 17 guys to get back to somebody that can actually hit the net again that could possibly win the game. And don't think I made that up because it happened to me down at Johnny's. That game took like an hour and 45 minutes because I think we had 17 different shooters go through before a kid came back that could actually win the game for him. It was pretty tough to watch, and took a long time to get that game done. I mean, they probably only have an hour and 10 minutes for the slot, and this just added like gobs and gobs of time to it. Kind of crazy. Next one that we might want to look at allows offsides for a shot on goal, and that would be if you're offsides, you could shoot the puck on net now, and it won't cause a stoppage of play unless the puck was to go in the net.
Yeah, it's not an immediate whistle.
132. Let's see. Yeah, is that right? 132D, I believe. Offsides eliminates tag up offsides. Oh no, this is a different one altogether.
That's your tag up.
So this is another one. This would eliminate offsides, not offsides period, but eliminates all the tag up offsides. So we would not have delayed offsides at any level, which is like going back to old school hockey. I don't know, when did they change that rule, Brad? I mean, that's been around for what, the 80s or 90s?
Well, when I started refereeing, Scott, everybody was tag up offsides. Everything was delayed offsides.
Right.
Then when I was
what year was that? Just out of curiosity, what year was that?
2000. So this is 21. Yeah, 2000, 99. I don't even know anymore. It's been a while, but it was all tag up offsides, and then they went to a thing called delayed offsides, to where you would dump it in as long as you didn't have a teammate below the top of the circles. Then they were allowed to clear. So you'd stand there with your arm up, and the other team got a free out of the zone. That they tried that for 2 years, and that didn't work out very well. It was very difficult for officials to differentiate between where players were skating out of the zone, and are they at the top of the circle or are they not? Then it's like, yeah, they were close, we'll put a delayed, and the game would keep. It didn't work out very well. And then even worse, they're supposed to get the free leave of the zone. Well, mites and squirts, they forget, and then they skate right back in right away, and then you got to shut it down.
Yeah.
So then they went to the automatic offsides for everybody except for in the high school level.
Well, I'm curious, everybody that's out there that's watching, give me a 1 in the comments if you like the idea of instant offsides at all levels. Give me a 1. And if you don't like that, if you'd like to have tag up offsides like we do now, give me a 2 in the box. 2 in the comments for that, please. A 1 if you want instant offsides, a 2 if you like the delayed offsides. Let's see what everybody says. I'm
a big supporter of delayed offsides.
I would be a number 2. Yes, I'm seeing all number 2s. Does anybody like a number 1? Doesn't look like it. Everybody says number 2. Yeah, I'm a number 2 on this also. I prefer to keep it the way it is. Well,
but not all levels play that way. Remember?
Right. You have it through Pee-wees. Pee-wees are instant offsides, squirts, mites. So it starts at Bantam level.
Right. And
I'd be in favor of it at a lower level, but I know they want players to control the puck. Yeah, there's not a single person that's wanting instant offsides. I haven't seen a single comment come through that wants that.
Well, the big thing is skill development, and that's what they're looking at.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take much for a coach at a low level, and I'm not trying to put a younger level, let's say it that way, a younger level of hockey, to get a team to pass it. They get it out of the zone, the guy gets it, and he just hammers it back into the zone. With my mites, their first practice last year when they first started playing like actual organized hockey, their first 2 or 3 practices was the puck coming out of the zone. They all changed spots, and they'd get it at the blue line, they'd skate backwards, they'd turn, and they'd pass it over to their partner. That was at center ice. And that's all they worked on for like 3 practices. And all the parents, quite a few of the parents were like, why are they doing this? I go, because they can't just shoot the puck back down into the zone. It's offsides. So what they're doing is they're getting the puck and they're moving it in order to create an opening. And then they're going to move it back in the zone. Watch. And that's how they did it. They built that up. So without that, my kids would just get it and shoot it right back in. And it's not hard to coach that. And I think they wanted to put a little more creativity on the coaches as well. Because there was a big thing on that quite a few years ago that they had this big presentation and I watched a video of it. I don't think it was on YouTube. I think this was before it. And they explained it that way, that it's not hard to coach that. And it's not building any skill level either. You know, remember, these kids that are playing, they could be on the selects. They could be on the junior team that's playing in Edmonton right now. But if they can't properly play against the rest of the world, how are they going to compete?
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I didn't see in there that I would like to see, you know, with the address of checking, I'm not a huge fan of checking in house league. I kind of wish. What's that?
My mom texted me.
Oh.
I started refereeing in 1999.
1999. Okay.
So apparently she's watching.
Referee
today.
like it's 1999. I think I know that song.
Anyways, so but
Yeah.
no, go ahead, Scott.
So you
Sorry
took my fanfare away. You know, I was trying to come out here with a big point. You know, Brad, you just cut me off at the knees as usual.
Sorry.
No, I'd like to see him take checking out of house league. I don't know how many of the referees out there feel the same way, but I think that at house league you have a lot of guys that enjoy the game. They're not as skilled, and you know, or they're developing their skills. They're new to the sport, and I hate seeing these guys that just go out there as crushers, and you get the 80-pound kid soaking wet with his equipment on up against the 175-pound kid, and even though it's a clean check, you know, they still end up getting hurt. There's just such a size difference with a lot of those players, and the skill levels are so different. I just think they should take checking out of hockey at the house league level. My personal opinion. I don't know if I'll put it out there for all you guys. Do you think we should have checking in house league hockey, or should we take it out? 1, if you think we should leave checking in. 2, if you think we should take checking out of house league.
Scott, what you're kind of referring to is a conversation that a lot of people have had over the past couple of years, is to, you know, maybe it's starting to become a time where you have a competitive rule book, and then you have, you know, a relaxed rule book. I mean, I don't know how you want to call it. We're not going to call it relaxed, I'm sure. But, you know, a competitive and then an amateur rule book, or however they want to put it. I could care less.
A recreational book versus a competitive book, something of that nature.
Right. But then, okay, who determines what's recreation and who determines what's competitive? I think at the levels, you know, some of the places they do that in their own areas. They say, hey, we're not going to have checking in this. Because remember, the affiliate can always impose harsher rules. They just can't retract. You know, so
well, I get 2 comments so far. One says leave it in. One says take it out. So I'm just you know, if you watch, there's good men's league hockey out there that's no check. There's some really good. I mean, you can watch the elite league players playing no check. Doesn't mean they're not getting bumped around or banged around a little bit, but nobody's going out there trying to cripple somebody so that they can't go to work the next day. I mean, they are, but you know, at that level, they're good enough to get away with it. But I just feel like we should allow some of these guys that maybe are undersized and still love the game and want to play, the ability to go out there and play without getting hurt. You know, yeah, it's a dangerous game. Anybody can get hurt at any time. Anything can happen out there. But I think you reduce the risk if you had a no-check league for those players at that skill level. If they're that good, then they should be moving up and playing at a different level. And yes, they're ready for checking. They can go out and do it. But I just would like to see them have that level that they can enjoy and enjoy the game for the rest of their life versus getting chased out of the game. And let's see. Mark says great idea on the 2 rule books. Well, that means you're going to have extra modules, Mark. That means you're going to have another 10 modules you're going to have to do and another test for a different book, and you'll have to be certified in that just like you are for, you know, doing some of the other variations of hockey that are offered. So I don't know if that's the case, but.
You know, it comes down to, Scott, I don't think, in my personal opinion, I don't think we need to change the rule book. Make it broad, you know. I don't think you need a second rule book. I just think you say at the house league level, there's no checking, or you know, the rinks that run it or the organizations just know that that's the rule. There's no checking in this league. I think it's, again, this is my personal opinion. No, I hear you. I just think the the parents of those players and the coaches, they should have that understanding. If assess your abilities. That's always something we say to referees. Always assess yourself as you keep going. Try to make yourself better. If you can't skate a midget AAA game, you probably got a pretty good idea that you can't skate a AAA major game. And if that's all you're wanting to skate, well, then you're probably going to have to work on your skating. It's just like the players that are playing. If my kids couldn't play and I thought they could be injured, I would try to seek out a way that they could play in something like that. If there's nothing in my area, then I'm going to have to teach them.
Okay, so Brad, let's go back. Let's say we got 2 fairly beginning hockey players.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going to go? You go to house league, right? You go to your learn to skate. You go to the clinic. Where are you going to go now to be a little bit competitive and get in a game? You're going to go to house league.
Well, yeah, but you're
not going to Central States. You're not going to AAA. You're going to house league.
Right, but there's different levels. There's different classifications of house league too. In every area. Some of them are just house league where it's in your rink. Then there's house league where it's multiple teams across multiple rinks.
But it's house league. It's travel house league. I guess it's still house league. The level is house league.
I just think we don't need it in the rule book because there are house leagues. There's some in an area by me, and they're Bantams, and it's no check, and they play it no check, and that's because the rink
just played out of that one rink. Okay, I haven't worked those games. I mean, I see the house league stuff, and it's typically, we'll call it travel house. Maybe some of the North Shore teams or whatever, and they bounce from rink to rink just so they get a change of scenery. You move up, you get to the Nihil level, or I don't even know what the levels are anymore. You got house, and then what is it? You got gold.
Well,
Nihil the next step
gold,
up, or
gold within it.
Okay, so I'm not even sure what the breakdown is. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing, but I still feel like that first level or two should be no check. So
I think that's up to the people that are in the area. I don't think you need to change the rule book for it and specifically state this level shouldn't be able to. If you want to say a really good game that's no check, go watch a women's game, a high level women's game.
Absolutely, great hockey, and they play tight to the body. It's wonderful. Love working like a AAA, U16, U18, even U14. It's great hockey. It's awesome. Brandon says money is also a factor for house league. It's less money. They should still be able to check. Well, Brandon, yes, it costs less to play. They're playing fewer games or whatever the case may be. But I think that
less practices. It's not only money; it's less of a time commitment as well. I get where he's going with it. He's stating maybe you want to play the game, but you don't want to be at the rink 50 hours, the travel. And I understand that, and I get where he's coming from too. Let them check.
Well, I think maybe they should have a house league that allows checking and a house league that doesn't. But I think they should have some sort of an option if they don't want to play check hockey. My personal opinion.
No, I hear you.
We all grew up playing check. We played check hockey. We never had no check. We always played full check.
I was a peewee.
Yeah,
so it started in Pee-wees for us. You had to take a checking clinic, or else you weren't allowed to play.
This was in what 1999 when you were a child.
I was 16 then.
I was playing in the very early 70s. So we had no check all the time.
And
there was no such thing as no check.
And your car seat in the car with your mom was her arm going like this.
We didn't have a car seat. When Dad slammed the brakes on because he wasn't paying attention, he threw the hand across the front seat to keep you in place. And we live to tell about it, okay? So
yeah, no, I hear you. Well, I got nothing else, Scott, unless you do.
Nothing. I just want to
rounded the hour.
Wish everybody a very happy new year. We're looking forward to a great 2021. Let's get it off to a good start. Thank you guys all for watching the show every week. Appreciate the support and the love. And don't forget the replays are up there. We do this every Wednesday at noon Chicago time. Tell your friends, send out a tweet or an email to your buddies if they're referees. Tell them to check out the show. For the parents that have questions, the ones that walk into the rink and always want to find the ref and want to ask them, why does this happen or how does this get called, then tell them to tune in. We'd be happy to answer all these questions.
All right, so
Chris said, ask Brad about my magnet. Oh, this goes back to putting your crest on your uniform or your sweater, as they like to call it, your crest on your sweater. You mean your patch on your jersey? Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Because patches are for your pants. Anyways.
Right.
Or for your elbows if you're a college professor. Come on. All right. No, so Chris did send me some photos of that. Okay. And I believe I specifically told you to tell the person whoever designed that to alter it a little bit and patent it, because it's a fantastic idea. But no, it's basically the same idea as how you keep on a name tag. They've used the two pieces of a name tag, and it's the same idea. And he had it on the top and the bottom. And I said to him, I go, does it stay on? He goes, I haven't had it fall off. So the magnets, it was something that I had never seen. So it definitely exists, and he wasn't lying about it. So thanks, Chris.
It's got to be able to stay on, because I was at an ADP skate one day and I was flying, and one of those younger guys, his crest had fallen on the ice because he didn't have it on there properly. And sure enough, I caught that crest and I went flying. Thank you very much. So please, guys, at least get the Velcro on there. If the magnets work, love to see how that works. I haven't seen them before. So, Chris, next time I see you at the rink, show me.
I'll shoot you a photo.
Brad will shoot me a photo. Okay.
I'll shoot
all right,
you a
guys and gals, thank you all for watching. Have a very, very happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Celebrate responsibly so we can see you at the rink sometime in 2021.
In the future.
Hey, I'll see you next year, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Scott. Happy New Year.
Anything else before we go? Anybody got any questions out there they want to pop in? We said happy birthday to everybody. The replays are up. If you'd like to support the channel, we would appreciate it. We put some of our favorite equipment that we like and things of that nature that we like. If you look at YouTube on the videos, those are affiliate links, so you would be supporting the channel if you purchase through those links. So if you go out and buy that new whistle that you want, we would get a small commission on it. A very small commission, but nonetheless, we would appreciate whatever you guys do. So just a reminder as far as that goes, it helps defer some of the expenses here for us. And Brad, thank you. It's been a great year, man.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of doing this, we went from 3 weeks to 7 months, and the plan is to continue, because it will be much easier if we ever reopen hockey. So we'll have all kinds of stuff to talk about.
well, Scott, the one thing is I rewatched the first 3 videos, the first 3 that we did.
Well, we got rid of the echo.
The best thing about, other than the echo, is like just looking at, if you even just scroll through the videos, the differences in the templates. I mean, it's really quite funny to, and so it's been fun, it's been a good idea, and I'm having fun with it, and kept us a little more sane throughout this. So
I've got all new graphics I'm going to try to put together for 2021. I've had them for like a month now. I just haven't had time to really sit down and do them, because I change this stuff up every week. I mean, I build them out while Brad and I are chit-chatting before we start the show. We usually get together around 11:30, maybe earlier, and a lot of texts during the week. Brad has become my new phone buddy. I get like texts at 2 o'clock in the morning. Hey.
Well, that's because you commented.
It's awesome because I'm up at that hour.
Well, it was last night. You commented it's on somebody else's Facebook in like the ref room or something, and I'm like, oh, well, he's awake. I thought of this.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's been great, so I appreciate it. Thank you for your dedication.
Hey, it's been fun. It's interesting. I mean, it gives us something to do. Kills an hour of my day. Not to say it's like a waste, but it's interesting.
You need that. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, with that being said, we thank you all very much for joining us. Again, Happy New Year to everybody. On behalf of my co-host, Brad Baumrock, I am Scott Smokin' Sills, and we will see you in 2021, everybody. Have a good one.
Yes, sir.